You sure you don't want some? It's chamomile. Listen, you are extremely terrifying. Just the scariest undead subhuman thing on TV, and I really mean that. But I am worried that you could give my kids nightmares if they see you, so I'm gonna have to block you. So that's it. Oh, and tell the zombies they're blocked too.
In Fairfield County, something new comes across my desk every day. Crimes are committed, cases are solved, and a community is made safe by the hardworking employees of the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office.
Welcome to This Week with Sheriff Dave Phelan, a weekly program here on LSN Television. We're also carried by a number of the radio affiliates here in Lancaster. Do appreciate you, the viewers and listeners that join us each and every week. Behind the scenes, Kelly Roberts, our executive producer, and this program is actually taped at Fairfield Christian Academy. Do appreciate J.T. Burchin and the students that helped put this program together. We've got a great guest this week is Sergeant Carl Lape. He's actually the Supervisor of the Year with the Sheriff's Office. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you are a 20-year veteran with the Sheriff's Office.
Yes, sir.
And you have 3 children.
Yes, sir.
2 twin 13-year-olds and a 16-year-old.
Yes, sir.
And did you actually grow up in the Lancaster area?
I started out in the Lancaster area. Then my father got transferred, so I at times lived in Indiana and Pennsylvania. And then about the time I came back for junior high. So.
Okay, so you went to Lancaster High School here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And your brother's also with the Sheriff's Office?
Yes, sir.
And what made you decide to get into law enforcement?
When I got discharged from the military, I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And mainly my brother Alex was the main reason why I decided to get into law enforcement. He started talking to me about law enforcement, told me how he was going through an academy, and so that kind of spurred me to get involved with an academy and get here with the Sheriff's Office.
Now, he's actually your lieutenant.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Now, does he go easy on you, or is he hard on you?
I think he probably holds me to a higher standard because I am his brother. So,
okay.
But I wouldn't expect any less.
Okay. Now, before the program, we were talking a little bit. You and your boys are into martial arts.
Yes, sir.
So tell me a little bit about that, and what got you into that?
I had always been interested in it since I was a kid, but I never actually took the plunge. And then once my kids started getting older, I wanted to be able to have something that I could say that we were able to bond with. So at 45, I thought it'd be a good idea to start martial arts and sign up my sons for it. And we've been doing it ever since.
And so do you have certain belts and things you've gotten?
Yes, sir.
And so you've got something coming up even, is it later today?
Yes, sir.
Tell me about that.
Later tonight, I have a testing for my red belt.
Okay.
And my kids just actually did their testing, so they're one step above me now.
Are they really?
Yes, sir.
So you practice together and everything?
Try to.
So, I mean, does this help your the boys with discipline and things like that?
I wanted them. One has actually become a certified instructor. My oldest son, Jeff, he's able to actually teach the first 3 belts in Taekwondo now. He's talked about he wants to do one more level. He'd be able to teach 6 belts. And the twins, the twins, they wanted to actually go higher in the black belt, and they also want to be instructors in it.
Yes, I don't know much about the martial arts. So is it as you progress, you get different belts to show your proficiency?
Yes, sir.
And how many are there?
There's a total of actually 10. There's like 9 collared, and then the 10th is your black belt, and then after that it's just different degrees of being a black belt.
And you're on red?
Yes, sir.
So where is that in the 10?
That would be 9th.
Oh, wow.
So
you're almost there.
Almost there.
In 2 years, that's pretty good, isn't it?
It'll be an accomplishment, and that's something that I can be proud of, that I did it at 45, and I want to try and instill that in my children, that's something they can be proud of, that at 13 they've already accomplished something that maybe 1% of the general population's been able to do.
Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
One thing I wanted to mention is that
as the supervisor of the year, that was chosen by your peers, and again, congratulations for that. And you've been with the sheriff's office 20 years.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the changes you've seen as far as law enforcement in the last 20 years, from the beginning of your career to what we see today?
The beginning was, a lot of equipment that, you really don't see anymore nowadays. I mean, at that point in time, we used to handwrite reports. Now, it's the technology and the media, body cameras, in-dash cameras, GPS. So that's all progressed, and the thing about it is that you only fall back on that when something happens with that technology. That's like I still try and, when somebody comes new to the shift, I still try and have our field training officers make sure that they're aware how to read a map. So if something does go down, especially with millennials nowadays, they're more familiar with how to use a GPS than they are to read a map.
There's, that reminds me. Yesterday, Loretta and I went on to visit some people we knew in Chillicothe, and we took this map, and I mean, it's taking us down side roads and backwards. We have no idea. And I'm thinking when we left there, I'm glad we have this technology today, because we're so spoiled. You get back and think about getting a map out, but that does make a lot of sense. If the GPS system would go down, these deputies still have to know how to get to locations.
Yes, sir.
And with 500 square miles in this county, there's a lot of. I bet you know about every road, don't you?
There's some that if I go down, I'll be like, oh, it's been a while since I've been down this road.
Yeah. Now you're the supervisor on second shift.
Yes, sir.
And that's the busiest shift within the sheriff's office.
We handle the most dispatch calls for all 3 shifts.
And then what's some of the more common calls you have?
Right now, we're dealing with thefts. There's some break-ins. That was something else that's changed. When I first started, it was a lot of overnight when it come to the break-ins, but now we're seeing just as many during daylight hours. Right now, those are the 2 main things: is thefts. We still handle unruly juveniles, domestics.
Yeah, and that just reminds me, and we've talked about this before on the program, that we used to tell kids if they were home, say it was a 10, 12-year-old and mom and dad were leaving for a little bit, if someone would knock on the door, don't answer the door. But today we say, at least yell at the door and say, Mom and Dad's busy, come back and call us, because as you know, a lot of the daytime burglars we have, they knock on the door. If they don't get an answer, they force entry, and probably 75% of those individuals are addicted to drugs.
Yes, sir.
So it's been very, very problematic as far as what we've seen. And I think you hit it on the head. The number of daytime thefts that we have today that you didn't have 20 years ago.
Yes, sir.
So now you were also a member of the SWAT team.
Yes, sir.
And tell me a little bit about that. And how the SWAT team works for the sheriff's office.
The way the SWAT team works is it's a part-time. So when I was actually on the team, what I would have to do is I would still have my commitments to patrol as the patrol supervisor, but I would still have to go for extra training, attend all the training sessions. If there was a call out where we actually deployed, then I would have to do all that, plus my other requirements as the patrol supervisor.
And how important is training as part of the SWAT team?
The thing that I can honestly say is now, since I've been off of it for a while, is that I call them perishable skills. If you don't do those consistently on a consistent basis and repeat those, you lose those skills.
Well, that's interesting.
So I agree that it's important that you got to stay up on your training for that.
Now, going back a little bit, before you were with the sheriff's office, you were in the Marines.
Yes, sir.
And is there anything else that you would have wanted to be other than a police officer?
From the time I was a kid, I grew up, I either wanted to be in the military or police officer. So that's really all I've ever considered.
And when you were in the military 6 years as a Marine?
Yes, sir.
Well, congratulations for that.
Thank
and
you.
Where did you serve?
I served all over the Pacific. I was stationed out of Oahu, Hawaii, deployed into the Pacific, Okinawa, Japan, Guam, Philippines. Ended up in the Persian Gulf.
Wow. If there's some young people out watching this program today, how important do you think it is to serve? I mean, what effect did that have on you as far as your what you learned, discipline and maturity and those type of things?
I would have to say that was probably the biggest growing phase for me. Is I realized that once I went into the military, how technically immature I was, and then having to go through adversity, through boot camp, and instilled some discipline in myself, and realized that I could accomplish things that I never thought was possible.
And you actually did have a serious injury, although it was in a training exercise while you're in Hawaii, right?
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
We were doing a nighttime maneuver in the Big Island of Hawaii. There's 3 volcanoes, and right smack dab in the middle is lava fields. And we were doing a nighttime maneuver, and I was a little clumsy and tripped over one lava rock and fell face first onto another one.
Wow. Caused a lot of damage, right?
I lost some teeth and part of my upper jaw.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, we're glad you made it through that okay. Now, just for our viewers and listeners, before we go off the air, summertime, people are going on vacation. What are some things they may want to do to help protect their homes while they're gone?
Like I said, my biggest thing that I could say would be invest in a good camera system. They're pretty much invaluable. If nothing else, they're able to develop a lead for you. In your normal burglary, if you can't get a fingerprint or some kind of DNA, at least with the camera system, you have something you can sort of see what they might have showed up to the scene with, what they were wearing, tattoos, some kind of identifying feature on them. Also, a good neighbor. Everybody complains about sometimes that my neighbor's a little nosy, but I also admit that that's probably one of the best alarm systems. They'll be able to see if something's out of the ordinary, or that, if you're on a good standing with them, if they come over and check your house, they'll know what's, out of place and not.
And we also have a vacation watch program.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about that.
The vacation watch was set up to where during the shift, you would like a deputy to come and check your house. So depending on the call volumes for each shift, so that's 3 shifts, if the call volume's low, you know that you'll have a deputy physically checking your house 3 times a day in a 24-hour period.
And that is our most popular program. Mm-hmm. And then I might also mention that if you're going to be on vacation, again, you said the most important is the trusted neighbor. Let them know. If you have newspapers, the mail, get those things stopped.
Yes, sir.
And we are certainly glad to do the vacation watch. And we've had occasions where people have been gone, and during the vacation watch, deputies have actually found other things. Maybe it would be a wind damage or some kind of storm damage to a home. And I think years ago, one of the deputies looked in, there was some water where a pipe had broke in the property. So a lot of good things. Do appreciate you, our Supervisor of the Year, 20-year veteran of the Sheriff's Office, former Marine. So anything going forward you'd like to do within the Sheriff's Office?
I still would like to move up in advancement before, I would even want to consider retirement eventually. Each time I joke that, there's been 4 promotional exams offered by you, and I think I'm the only one in the office that can say I've taken all 4.
Well,
and I told Kelly that can be a good thing, and that can be construed as a bad thing depending on how you want to look at it.
Well, I think it's a good thing. It shows perseverance, and especially when you're testing for lieutenant, there's not many positions available, and it's pretty tough. And so, yes, do appreciate you. Supervisor of the Year, Carl Lape. Well, the clock on the wall says we're just about out of time. Till next week, same time, same place. God bless, and we'll see you right here.
These waters were woven into the culture of Native American tribes. The descendants of the early Europeans built a business here based on agriculture. And today, this unique destination in the central Ohio countryside comes to life with stories and memories centuries old. The Fairfield County Historical Parks invites you to amazing Rock Mill. Above the falls of the Hocking River Gorge, here together, nature and man have created some truly American stories that you'll want to experience with the entire family. Visit us or learn more about Rock Mill and the largest wooden water wheel in the nation at historicalparks.org.